Good morning, Anna.
Morning, Nicolette. Or afternoon,
Hello.
Nicolette.
Thank you. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. First off, thank you very much for saying yes to be interviewed today and for taking the time. Maybe for the benefit of our listeners, could you share with us which part of the world are you in right now?
Well, I'm right now in Germany and Berlin.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
so far,
Europe
far,
and
far
Asia.
away. Yes, that's true.
Thanks to technology. This is
Absolutely.
all possible because of that. Well, I would love to read a bit of your introduction for our listeners today, and then we can get right into what exactly do you do and give us some insights on that. So, hey everyone, we have Anna Urnova here with us. Anna here is an award winning career coach helping professional men navigate midlife crisis, stop being stuck, stagnant, and burning out in a soul sucking job, and successfully pivot to thrive, making an impact and income they want and deserve, even if they have tried and failed many, many times before. Now, I am so compelled to ask, can you help women too? Or is it only
Yeah,
professional men?
sure. Yeah, that's that. I get that a lot, and I have to explain because everybody's like, "Why you exclude women? This is horrible. This is so." Oh my God, oh my God. Let me explain. And I'm a woman, so I feel really bad getting that. So I of course I've as a coach I've been working for over 20 years, and I've worked with both men and women. Though I work mostly in executive area, so I worked with senior executives, with corporate world, and to be honest, in any given group and in any given project, coaching project I took, they usually would be like 5 men, 1 woman. Right, it's just the truth about the executive levels in corporate world, unfortunately, right? And so then at some point I decided to specialize, and I also wanted to go and do more work online, and I worked with coaches who helped me specialize and understand where's the sweet spot, where's the like the client and the problem that I solve most, and I would enjoy also specializing it. And we analyzed my clients. We saw like over 90% are men, and they are also at this kind of mid-career age, which is 35, 55 years old, where a lot of people have a crisis, which we kind of call midlife crisis, but it also has I call it mid-career crisis, and women and men have it as well. So at first I started to work with both mid-career men and women, but then what I found is that actually mixed groups did not work well. And and I was wondering, and I did some research, and I realized that one of the reasons, there are many reasons to that, but basically men and women face slightly different challenges at mid-career. And one of, let's say, if we like simplify it a little bit, men deal, and what happens at midlife, mid-career, just a little bit like we face the challenge, and of course you're young, you're probably not at that stage yet, as many listeners, but once you kind of hit 35 plus, approaching 40, what we all see that our energy is diminishing, and we need to find additional resources. And that's why a lot of people seeking purpose, seeking energy, because where they maybe they were able to kind of push themselves through, soldier through things that were not energizing them at mid-career. We do have to have things energize us, otherwise we'll just run out of energy, right? And we'll hit decline. So that's the main thing. And this additional reserve of energy, so to say, for men, it's an embracing their more feminine side. And it's not about becoming women or becoming VP, no. But there is let's say, this is to simplify it. For instance, be more caring about others, dealing with emotions, which a lot of the times men were brought up with, let's just move on, right? Emotion, let's just move on. Exactly. So while for women it's the other way around, women need to embrace more masculine sides of their, let's say, psyche, so to say. Again, this is simplified, right? And it's not about women becoming men, men becoming women. It's not like that at all. But let's say, like one psychologist said, I heard that, which I liked. She said men need need to act more from the heart, while women need to basically like open their throat chakra. So they need to learn to speak up more, to have the voice, to stand on their own and have a voice.
Right.
And so what happens when you have mixed groups of clients is that when men and women are together, then what the first thing happens, and every person, every coach working with groups will tell you that, is that we start project, and women pick up the more feminine side of the group and men pick up the more masculine. It just happens subconsciously. Okay. And it's really hard to get out of it. So while what I realized men and women need, they need to embrace all of their, because we all have all, right?
That's
We
right.
all are
That's right.
whole. And that's
That's right.
exactly what midlife is about. You got to integrate the whole of your personality, of your psyche, to be successful and to enjoy and to be energized in the second or third act or whatever you want to call, right? And that's why I realized, okay, men and women better work with separately, because then men can explore, the holistically who they are,
Completely
and also
tapping into
what
feminine.
exactly, and what they tend to maybe delegate to the wives, sisters, I don't know, mothers with female colleagues. We delegate, especially, and women do that too, right? We delegate to husbands, brothers, male colleagues, whoever, right? We delegate.
Yeah.
But when you're on your own and you really embrace your purpose, you really as whole, because at our soul level, and you talk about soul, right, and spiritual purpose, we are whole, and
That's right.
we need to embrace our whole. And this separation, this division of labor, if you will, it's not working. At least this is what I found. But I wasn't on my own. I did a lot of research, literature, and I also spoke to a lot of coaches who were in this field. And what I found as well, that there are a lot of coaches who actually specialize on helping women at mid-career change. So
Yeah,
that's
and that those are male coaches.
well, not only they're female, but they're male as well. And no one actually attacks them
Right.
and say, "How dare you work with women only?" No. Yeah. So then I was
Oh, okay.
like,
That's
okay,
sexism there.
exactly. Why would I then kind of because specialism always helps, because you just deal with the same problems over and over again, and then you of course get better at solving them, right? So that's how I had to separate, let's say, from female clients, though it wasn't easy. I love my female clients and I had some great success stories as well, but I had to separate. And let's say now I am always referring women to the great coaches I know. And I decided to specialize on men, because also men, of course, some men benefit with working with male coaches, but some men really benefit from having a feminine perspective, so to say. Although I
Yeah.
kind of, again, I try to work for my whole self, but that there is a big benefit of that as well. So sorry to like having a long answer, but
That's
that's
okay.
basically, it was a journey. It wasn't decided overnight. It's the journey took years for me to realize and experiment and try to do things differently, and then also deal with this. Oh my God, what will people say? Why do I say? But yeah,
Yes.
but the problem is that basically, if I invite women, but then, for instance, I have this free presentation about 5 steps of mid-career change. It absolutely works for women too. I'm a woman. I used it. It worked. I developed
Yeah.
it for myself first, right? Then I tried it on my clients. But I use all my success stories are male because that's my clients. And so a lot of women would be like, hey, why you talk only about male stories? And so then we have another discussion. So I always tell women, please watch the presentation, but please translate it for yourself. And then if you want me to refer you to another coach, I will do that. And so everybody is just thriving, right?
Wow. Well, thank you for clearing the air. I think our listeners are are pumped up to hear. Okay, now Anna actually explained the whole background of the backstory. I mean, walk through with us. Share with can you share with us the part where you said why men, especially in their midlife age, they are leaning the need for them to tap into their feminine, and then women needing to be able to be more expressive because, well, okay, maybe you're talking about you're generalizing, right?
Of course.
So I mean, I can't speak for myself because all the while I've been the overachiever, quote unquote. So that means I'm more on my masculine side,
Exactly,
and I have
exactly.
to admit that. And truthfully, now only I begin to step into my
That's true as
femininity.
well. Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
A lot of women, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but there are a lot of women who were, for whatever reason, brought up to actually be in their masculine, and they will
Yes.
face a challenge of actually engaging their feminine,
That's right.
and also
That's right.
then express yourself from the totality of who you are, right? The feminine and
Mm,
masculine, right? Yeah,
yeah.
100%. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. So I guess it's not just one way, it could be vice versa as well.
Absolutely. They're basically, the thing is, we are to embrace and integrate whatever is often called the shadow. You know, Carl Jung called it the shadow
Mm,
side. So something that we
yes.
kept
Shadow work.
in the locker room, you know, in the attic or in the cellar or whatever, wherever you keep your shadow, right? We all have different places. So, but
Yes.
something which we did not show to the public, show to the light, and even to ourselves, something that we often just don't embrace, because either it's connected to guilt, shame, failure, or for instance, the family of origin plays a role, because often in families, things are split. For instance, if you have siblings, and parents tend to say, well, you're the beautiful one, and you're the smart one, and you're the, I don't know, the artistic one, and you're the sporty
Yeah.
one, right? And so a lot of
Mm,
people would say, well, you know, I'm not an entrepreneur. My brother is an entrepreneur. I am the scientist of the family. You know, this things like that. So the
yeah.
familiar roles, they also keep us kind of stuck
In a
often
box.
in a
Yeah.
box, and we don't even understand. We it's often so subconscious,
Mhm.
and there are a lot of people deal with that at the kind of first crisis, career crisis, around 30. But a lot of people carry it up to the, you know, mid-career, midlife, and then it's really blocking you, because, as I say, you've got to embrace all of your energy. And then if you believe, well, I can't be this because of that, I can't be this because of that, I can't be that because you know, or no one in my family has ever tried it, or something like that, right? So, and again, it's subconsciously, but suddenly we feel we running out of energy, because we are denying ourselves of all these reserves, right?
I
So we
love that.
have to invite, and of course, it's not as easy to say, hey, yeah, what's in the shadow? Let's drag it
Let's,
out.
yeah.
I mean, because you have reputation. I mean, I'm working with clients who are successful. They have reputation. They have families, right? They have life. People know them a certain way, and suddenly say, "Hey, you know
Hmm.
what? From tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, I don't know, more artistic or more
Yeah.
intuitive. Oh, I'll just stop
Mm.
crying from time to time."
Yes, yes. And I used to have that notion as well when and when I was doing the work, the shadow work, taking on all the skeletons from my closet. And I perhaps I cannot say it for the rest of the people, but for me, because it requires courage, requires you just staying true to yourself. And that means you might be ridiculed. People might look at you a certain way. And I guess at the end of the day, are you still trying to live up to the expectations of the society, or are you finally answering that purpose of that calling, what you're here for?
Sure.
So
Or both, you know, to be honest, Nigdalene, it's
mm,
both, because I
yeah.
honestly believe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't believe it. I believe society needs us to step into our wholeness. I honestly see visual of like this human race, or like humanity as overall, as like a big matrix, and like each of us, we have this unique plug-in where we plug in,
Mm,
but we only
mm.
can find this plug-in, and when we plug in, we unlock our potential, we unlock our gifts, we unlock our talents, and we kind of, you know, it's like
Bursts,
yes,
yeah.
and we kind of,
Supernova.
we exactly, and we enrich the humanity with all that.
Mm,
But it only
mm,
happens when we embrace our gifts, because but if I only embrace like 1/10, 1/30th, because that's what I think I'm, it's like I'm only
I'm
turning my
familiar
this
with.
side, right? Because that
Yes.
side, that's my good side, and that side is my bad side, and all my life I know not to show that side. Then
Mm-hmm.
I cannot
Mm-hmm.
plug in, you know. It
Mm-hmm.
just, it doesn't
Mm.
work. I keep trying to plug in into all this, you know, wrong things, or wrong,
Yes.
wrong areas. And then I am successful maybe for a while, but then it's just flat and I'm not energized, because also when you plug in, you are energized. It works.
Exactly. It's supposed to be reciprocal. Yeah.
You fulfilled, you give, but you
Yes.
actually fulfilled by giving. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how it
the
works. I
flow.
really truly believe. Even now, I feel like,
Yes, the chills.
the chills. Absolutely, because that's the truth. And all men, women, we all need to find that perfect plug-in. And I do find a lot of suffering because we somehow feel, like you say, you are not worthy. That's why I really, when I saw your podcast, I was like, what? We are but that's what would draw me here, because that's exactly what my clients feel. They feel that if they I mean, men don't come, for instance, my clients don't come to me at mid-career because they're like happy and they want to be happier. No, they come because something hit, right? They were, for instance, made redundant. They lost their job, right? Sometimes several times in a row. They may be stuck, they overlook for promotion, they underpaid, they don't get the recognition. That's kind of more external. But internally, the worst thing is that they stop having fun, being motivated and energized by what they do. And what that means they're hitting full burnout scales. But that is a really dangerous thing, right? So they kind of have this, and the thing that's underneath that is that they start feeling they are not worthy.
Oh, yes.
So it's like society suddenly says you are not worthy. You're not worthy, which is to me is like, and there's a lot of myths there. By the way, you interrupt me when you feel like I'm going.
No, that's okay. I love it. This is right at the tangent.
Once I get on my force, I'm like, and then society,
full force ahead.
There are so many experts that tell men, and almost every single man come to me. They said they're scared, but they have to start over, because that's what society tells them. You have to start over. Go back to school, get a new degree. Go to square one. And I was like, what? And this is crazy, because even if you don't know anything about corporate world, about careers, but just someone who's just been on a journey for 40 years, why would suddenly all of that become worthless? I just
exactly.
These men built a career, sometimes twice. They have multiple degrees. They have families. They have relationships. They have experiences. They have so much to give, not just their natural talents, but the experiences, they want to give, because actually men are wired to give to share their skills, to give their skills, gifts to the world. If they're not giving, if they're not providing for their families, for the world, they are miserable. They're miserable, right?
Oh, because they need to feel needed.
Yeah, they want to give.
Correct. And the feminine is the one at the receiving end.
Yes, I would say receiving and holding. Let's say.
And holding.
Yeah.
Retaining it. Yeah.
I agree. Simplistically, I do think that basically men want to keep women happy.
Yeah.
Feminine.
I mean,
feminine happy.
Yes, feminine. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the feminine of the world wants, men want to provide. They want to make it happen.
Right.
They want to be the hero. They want to make the impossible and all that. Yeah. And suddenly, when you've had so much experience, where you like really mastered so much, you're told, well, you know what, we don't need you anymore. You're not worthy. Sometimes they're not told that, but that's how they read it. Oh, okay, I didn't find a job, so I'm not worthy. So I can't, I have to start from scratch. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like I'm saying, look at it. If you were like going, like you said, you want to come to Germany. Imagine you're from Malaysia. You decide, like, I don't know, walk to Germany or something, or whatever way you want to travel. And then, like when you're already in Berlin, but you want to take like this last taxi to your hotel, you suddenly lose your way, and then you go, okay, I'm lost. How about I need to go back to Malaysia now and start all over, right?
No, exactly. I mean, you're just gonna, because okay, again, I want to add on to that. Even if you need to start, you're starting not from scratch. You're starting from your experiences.
Yeah. It's like you would lose your way. You would say, okay, I maybe made the wrong turn, but I will let me go, to the beginning of the street.
I can trace it back. Yeah.
Exactly. Or look at my GPS, or like reorient myself. Maybe, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that people honestly believe they have, if they want to pivot at mid-career successfully, they need to start from scratch.
Mm.
I'm watching this TV show. I don't know if you watched it. It's called The Rookie. I haven't watched it
Oh,
when it was
yeah,
showing,
I've
but one of the many clients actually mentioned it, and I started to catch up to see what they're talking about. And this is like the typical what men think. There's that kind of mid-career guy, sorry, midlife guy, right? And
uh-huh,
they
uh-huh.
call him midlife crisis, walking midlife crisis, because he left everything, his town, his family, his career. He was in construction, and now he went through police
Kind of
academy.
floating by.
He was in police academy. He went to police academy, and now
Right,
he
right.
became the rookie in the police. So he, everyone is like 20 something, and he's like 45, right? So I mean, and everybody make fun
Yeah,
of
I think I
him.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I
So
think yeah, I saw clips of that. Oh, yes, yes.
So his bosses hate him because they say, "Oh my God, if you succeed, other midlife crisis men will come, and we don't want that." Because also, come on, I mean, they have to run. It's a very tough job, right? For just the start. So anyway, he's doing well, by the way. It's in this TV show. I'm just why I started watching it, and I wanted to see what my clients mean when they say, "Well, I don't want to do that." I don't want to become the rookie in some other career
In
path,
some, yeah, it's somebody who's actually younger than me is already, I'm reporting to that person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And being also kind of mid funnel.
Yes, along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to answer your parents or your cousins who's already there, attain certain status, and then, oh, you're starting again? Are you sure? What about the things that you've done? What about your family? What did they say about it?
Yeah. Well, actually, Nicolette, you touch on another very, very like big fear. Wow, you're
Mm-hmm.
intuitive. You're like, like what they call
I
the
like to
acupuncture.
probe it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
The pain point, pain point. Yeah, because that's another thing. The actual, a lot of people, a lot of men, and I guess women too. But I will speak to my client, what my clients tell me. So they have an idea, for instance, of they want to do something else. They're not happy where they are. And by the way, they usually spend years thinking about it. It's not like, oh,
Yeah.
one
It's
day.
not
No,
like,
no,
oh,
they
next week I'm
already.
gonna do it. Yeah.
Exactly. By the time when they already kind of start talking about it, men spend usually months and years thinking and thinking and thinking. They are very much in their head, and they're thinking and they're
Right, they're
figuring
very
out.
logical. Like, oh my god, like
Yes, yes.
strategic.
Oh
I
my
gotta
God, they
do
have
this.
to,
I
and
gotta.
they cannot
What are the
also just.
risks and what?
They cannot just blah, go and blah, because they also have reputation. So then they start
Mm-hmm.
going to the closest connections, like you just said, your circle, like your wife, or maybe your kids if they've grown up, your friends, maybe your colleagues, your your most trusted ones, and they want to kind of check if that's a workable thing, right? I don't know. The career pivot, and actually, that's a huge mistake.
Oh, thank you, Anna. Because
Because
actually,
that circle will be the first to big, as you just said, make big eyes and say, "Are you crazy?"
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
and even the supportive ones. And the reason for that is because these people, it's almost like, the image I have, it's like you have a ring. I don't have any rings right now, but you
Mm-hmm.
have a
I don't
ring
have either.
with a gemstone, not very feminine of us. So anyway, with the gemstone, and the gold or the silver or the platinum or whatever, they're holding the stone together, like they're holding the
Mm-hmm.
stone in the place. So the closest circle, they're almost like holders in our current identity, and they're, what I say, invested in it in a way that they know us like that, they love us like that, like Nicolette. If you just say, well, you know what, forget about podcasts, now I'm going to be, I don't know what.
Something else. I'm gonna go to banking. Oh my
Okay,
god,
yeah,
going
yeah.
back to
I'm gonna be a banker now. Yeah. Who do you think will react with more shock? People who know you really well for the last 20 years, or people who never met you?
my mom and dad. You're crazy. You just
Yeah.
started
Oh,
podcasting
you're
and you're gonna
giving
go
us
into
a heart
banking again.
attack.
Exactly.
Exact. So people who know us most, we want them to comfort us and support us, but they will be most shocked. I'm talking about 9 out of 10. Okay, there may be one wife or one supportive friend who would say, "I always seen you a banker. I never saw you or whatever, right? Or I always saw you were, if you were a banker." They would say, "And now you want to be a singer or podcaster." You'll be like,
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
of course. I always known you were a singer at heart. Yes." But majority, it will be like, what? Because we've known us like this for 20 years. And now when you and you don't forget the shadow, you kept the shadow hidden, right? And now when you suddenly like, hello, here am I, want to be someone else, they will be shocked. And it's not their fault. So they usually, what they do, they will help us to trigger the fears and basically to understand why it won't work. It's just a process.
Yes.
That's how they will do that.
But again, Anna, I don't know. I don't know if we women are better at discerning what is the best for us. I guess maybe because we have more feminine, or we follow, or we are better at reading, and I would say adhering to our intuition. And then like, okay, again, I cannot speak for everybody, like, but for me, I know I want A, but let me just try and check other people around me. What do they say? Some say A, 8.1, or B, or Z. No, meaning no. So at the end of the day, it is up to you to make the call, because you are the one who's gonna walk your path, not them.
Well, it's gonna be hard, all right? But what I'm saying, if you like, oh, I have this idea, but I'm also vulnerable because it's very kind of tender and new, and it's easy to
I can
feel
fail
it,
anytime.
right? So, and then I go to people who say, "Oh no, not again," or "Not you," or "No, you will never," like people like mom, dad, sisters, whatever, family. Let's put it this way, all old friends. "Oh no, you will never like succeed at this," or something like that, because they already they know, and they want to protect us from ourselves. They want to protect us from taking the risk and failing. They want to protect us from disappointment, right? And things like that. So what you got to do, you got to share and seek validation, but from people who already on the other side of this. For instance, you want to be a banker, you go to bankers or people who already maybe made a transition into banking, right? So you go to them. So right now, by the way, banking may be not the best option, financial services.
Oh, of course. My real case study is that from my 9 to 5, which is an accountant here, I'm transitioning full time to podcasting and therapy and coaching. So joining the bandwagon here, as you
wonderful. But the people who will understand you, for instance, if another accountant wants to be reassured that the transition is possible, he needs to or she needs to find you. Rather than go to other accountants, because that's what people also do. They, for instance, okay, this guy, he's in logistics, but he wants to write an ebook and he wants to actually move into something more climate supportive, climate change, sustainability, that one. So he talks to other buddies who are in logistics and who don't want to move.
Of course.
And of course they tell him, "Hey man, what's that even about?"
Yeah.
We don't know anyone.
What about...
We don't know anyone.
What's the big deal? Exactly. What's the big deal with sustainability? Let UNICEF do it. Let UNDP do it.
Exactly, right? It's like fishes talk. One fish wants to fly, so we talk to other fishes, and they're like, "Look around, no one is flying.
No one is flying.
Flying is not possible. It's not for us, right? So you got to find the flying fish. Someone.
Right.
So the same. So you need to find people who are either made that transition already, or they're on the other side, so they don't see all this. You can't. It's not about us. For them, being, for instance, podcast is normal. For them, it's their world. So you can't say, "I want to be a podcast." They're like, "Sure, that's what you need to know and do 1, 2, 3, 4." So before you even, they don't say, "Are you sure?" They say, "Yeah, let's do it." So before you even know, you already start, trying, and then you meet other podcasters, and they talk as if it's 100% normal.
Yes. the same lingo.
Yeah, and then you meet Nicolette, and then she maybe knows, maybe you know a couple of other people who also made transition from 9 to 5 to podcasting, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Perfect. I mean, we resonated on so many levels, and I think our listeners can resonate to this as well. I wanted to ask you so many questions, but it's like you've touched all of them, if not most of them, if not all. Okay, so maybe let me look at this. Why do professional men experience midlife crisis? What could be the causes? I think we did touch a bit, but let's dive a little bit deeper in that.
But basically the topic of midlife crisis is like eternal. There's books written, there's like famous stories
Oh
about that
yeah,
and all that. But
it's
so
timeless.
exactly. But I look more at what men actually. I have these free calls where I certain number of slots I allow men to call me and just share basically what they're dealing with, and I see if I can help them on this free call. You know, it's like 45 minutes, but we look what's not working, what they can help, what they can change, you know, and what they want instead basically, and then I help them to change if I can on this short call. And and I'm taking like hundreds of them. That's in addition to like clients I work with. And of course, I hear a lot of what the men are dealing with, and it's the same story all over. So basically, most of them feel that somehow the career they chose maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, somehow either is not fulfilling them anymore. So they lost fire, they lost fun, they lost motivation, energy. Something it's ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Or some of them actually say, I have never really been fulfilled by that career. I was just chose it
Oof.
because it was, unfortunately, it's not majority, but there are a lot of men like that who chose because it would be, you know,
It's the
either
easiest,
either it
or
was expectation from family, or it was easier. A lot of people say I just fell into it, or they felt that was a way to provide, you know, because men believe, you mentioned something, women are better at using their intuition. I would say, again, I don't want to generalize, but what I found is women are more aware maybe of where they would be more motivated or something, even although expectations also, you know, influence women a lot, but somehow men often feel they are not allowed to just explore their desires, their passions, their purpose, because they have to provide. They see separation.
That's
They see like
paradox right there.
exactly
Yeah.
like purpose is for like people who either don't need to work for money, or they already made enough. A lot of men believe that. So they feel
Yeah.
like this is work. I do it for money, and then I do something for my soul or my purpose, so to say, right? And maybe if I'm lucky enough and I make enough, and you know, send kids to college, then I will embrace more of my purpose, and
And then
then I
if
will not
money
work for money.
comes, yeah, and if money comes, that's a bonus for me.
Yeah. So a lot of men basically found that this career they chose either for money, or sometimes even they had fun, but then it kind of ran its course. And a lot of men are surprised by that, because in the boomer generation, which is like a, you know, previous generation, there was a belief and expectation, I think, that careers last forever, right? That they basically last until retirement.
Yes. Yes.
You have your
Yes.
degree, then you prove yourself, and then you kind of thrive, and then you reap your rewards, and then you retire, and that's how it happens. So a lot of men still, even if I work, though I work with exes and even millennials, still believe when something stops working, they don't have the assumption, okay, my career just ran its course, or I have to change. No, the first they really start pushing it, soldiering
Yeah. Oh
through
my
it, and
God.
they
I feel it.
and
Yeah.
they really, and it's really heartbreaking to hear, because they, of course, they have often they have families to provide for, but it's not just that, it's just they believe, oh God, something wrong with me, I have to make it work, I have to make it work, I have to maybe it's also the masculine that has to make things work, and believes it has duty, it has obligation, and it just starts pushing, and a lot of guys actually burn out because of this, because they try to push, you know, like there's a saying, if you're riding a dead horse, it's time to dismount.
Yeah.
This is basically they keep trying to ride the dead horse, you know, and they end up burning out. So a lot of, and I'm talking like 80% on the calls, actually, we have to acknowledge, well, it sounds like your career maybe is at the end. Maybe it's a dead end. And a lot of men, they need to say it out loud because they spend so much time talking about it in their heads. They often even don't discuss with this wife, spouses, partners,
No.
because they're afraid, because they don't have the plan B, so they can't just
That's
say,
right.
I mean, and the family depends on them, right? So they don't know how to
Yeah.
even bring the subject because they feel guilty that they're not
That's
making
right.
it work, right? So I feel
Yes.
like motivation, energy, I just have to push, and then maybe, I'll just have to force myself to feel energized. But it doesn't work. It's like dead horse. If it's dead, you can do whatever. You will not be riding it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Careers running out of steam, and men not facing, being in denial about it, and forcing themselves back. And the problem here is, Nicoletta, we're talking people who are in their 40s, right? Well, 35 to 55, but here's an average like 40, 45. They have 20 years to go. I mean, you cannot be riding
Yeah.
a dead horse for 20 years.
Come on.
If it
Yes.
was
You're talking
5
about
years,
a
okay.
week, not even a month, then okay. I mean, why would you go against the flow of the universe?
It's people, again, it's just the assumption. So when we actually say, well, you know what, careers end before our retirement age. But we were brought up with, okay, you got this, you got on this good career, and now you have to ride it until you're 65 or something. So
Until the end of time.
that's one of the reasons. If we were more prepared to accept that, okay, I will probably have 2-3 careers, if not more, in my in my working life, right? So I will have to change horses every now and then. So the moment I see that the energy goes down and it's not working and the change is not working, then I have to consider, pivoting.
I love that.
But
I love that.
men and women as well are terrified because, again, going back to where we started, a lot of people believe that now I have to go all the way back to Malaysia, right? To where I started as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, get a new degree, invest all over, and that's just unfair and terrifying, right?
I love it because you just reaffirm all of the steps that I've taken to get to where I am now.
Did you work with a coach, or were you just let's say wise and intuitive?
To be honest, Anna, I got into this. I was making the switch is because of my own trauma, and I did that work within myself. And to be honest, now that I'm talking to a lot more people, coaches, I'm seeing all the benefits that comes into it. So I have a few people in mind that I said,
so you basically intuitively started making changes yourself, and then you hear validation,
internal some calling from the universe, because like what you said, I was pushing it. I would say was given I thought it was like prestigious, very good paying job, and then something hit, COVID hit, and then it all came spiraling down until a point where, wow, it's worthless. I felt worthless because that's exactly what I was experiencing every single day by my, my higher ups. So, and that was the impetus of my podcast, to be honest, because I wanted to know, am I the only one that has lost my sense of self? Because you're an overachiever, you will tie your accolades and your achievements to your self-worth. And if you lose all of that, plus my relationship was in shambles, I got married and divorced before 30, therefore what is my worth if the love department is not working? Okay, let me try career is my last hope. No, it's not working. Something is wrong. I'm not worthy.
Wow.
So
wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, that's
so
your
much.
midlife crisis, basically. You
Exactly.
were an early one.
Let me see. It was 29. So it took me 4 years to dive deep, and to, again, a friend lovingly said to me, Nick, you need to love yourself. I didn't know what it was.
Easier said than done, huh?
Yes, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what do you mean I need to love myself? I take myself out for my hair appointments, my nails. I mean, I love myself. But then what he meant was, you gotta be whatever that you're looking for, especially if you're looking for in a partner or a career, you need to feel that bliss. You need to be one with yourself. And if you don't, and you need to know, you gotta have a direction. You have a direction, but let go, detach from the outcome of how you get
Mhm.
there.
Well,
So
that's
I'm like,
again easier said than done. Detached from
yeah,
the
exactly.
outcome, this is tough. This is tough one. But I first of all, sorry that you felt worthless
No,
because it's honestly, this is just it could be so. I
I
mean,
could I could spiral to a
annihilating.
depression,
Yes,
Anna.
yes, and
I could spiral,
a
but
lot
then
of people do exactly
yes,
do that. Yes.
exactly. And this is why I said no, no. I gotta pull myself this, and I started it with talking, and that's why I said I started talking. The first 6 episodes of my podcast was me talking and just sharing it out, and
Mm.
then the universe came and say, okay, the Podmatch creator come drop in my email box mailbox, and he said, why don't you join the platform? And when I created that profile, I got about 20 to 30 people matching matches.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, so I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone.
Yes,
Especially
and
after COVID, I heard you said the
yes.
COVID made you realize. I saw that in my clients as well. COVID was a major. I mean, there was a lot of suffering and challenges with COVID, but I think if there's one good thing is that it allowed a lot of people to face the truth
Oh
about
my god,
their
yes.
careers and how they were used in the companies and how toxic
How
it
they're
were,
operating their
and they
lives,
how it's
themselves.
useless,
Yeah.
and how they feel worthless, like you said, and how they were busy before
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
busyness. One of the forms of denial is busyness, getting very busy. So busy you can't think of anything, right? You just feel you're busy, 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 and then boom, silence and emptiness of
Yes.
COVID. And a lot of
Damn.
people looked in the mirror, right? Of course, there was also a lot
Mm-hmm.
of depression and other things as well, and we dealt with a lot of loss and all that as well. But I think the good thing was that people really asked some difficult questions, and a lot of people really launched their development journeys, their self-development journeys, they changed journeys during COVID because they just had time on their hands, they had space.
Yes.
Yeah,
Got to sit
yeah.
with their own thoughts, and that's
Yeah.
something that most of us don't do.
It's not
Well, oh
easy, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Mm.
easy. I also want to say one thing. Difference between men and women. I find the women are more readily see themselves vulnerable. I even when you said shadow work, for
Mm.
instance, I see a lot of spaces where women do shadow work, and in fact, they're obsessed with
Ah.
shadow work. I do not see many spaces, with men. And one thing that I noticed is that women are more readily, let's say, seek
Mm.
external help, whether it's among other friends,
Females,
female friends,
friends. Yes.
or going to counselor, therapist, coach.
Mm.
And it's a lot more okay, let's say, for women to do that than for men. And men, a lot of men, unfortunately, tend to cover up this suffering, so to say, their
Cho.
frustration.
Ego.
Not even, yeah, I guess not tricky, but they do it because they don't want to upset their wives. I spoke recently to a
Yes.
guy who was made redundant 2 months ago. His wife and he did not know. He did not tell them.
Until up to this point.
Well, two
Ooh.
months he was, I hope he did say now, but I was like, you man, what's going on? He just could not
Mm.
bear to tell them. He didn't have a job anymore. Can you imagine the world where a man feels like that? And I just said, man, well done, you called me, because that was a huge, courageous, yeah, as someone who
So
was
you was
hiding even from,
did
he was hoping to quickly jump into another job so that, and then
no.
tell them. I mean, it's not funny. It's
Yes.
we're laughing. It's a defense mechanism, but it was heartbreaking. And because he just couldn't bear. But can you imagine the world of a man who lies to his wife and to his son every single day? Well, he worked from home, so he was like, he didn't know the difference. He would go to his study, but he instead would be looking on LinkedIn for a job, right? And he was hoping that maybe he can find something before they find out. I mean, it was devastating. So I was like, man, thank God you called me at least, because we of course talked about men. finding another job at his level can take, I don't know, 6, 9, 12 months. You cannot lie all this time. You will destroy your family.
Yes.
I mean, imagine going
Yes.
fluent 3 months.
Yes. Oh my
Uh,
God. What do you?
Funny, that
I'm
was your
your
day.
wife.
My day was
Yes.
fine, and then there was no. I mean,
I had a meeting with my boss again this week about the project, not knowing that there
but
was no
that's the
project.
unfortunately the truth. Men lie, and they don't lie because they're bad, or they're toxic, or they're machos, but they lie because they want to protect, and they lie to their
That's
friends
true.
as well. They lie to the friends, and they lie on LinkedIn, and they lie on many. Well, let's say they put the version.
Again, Anna,
lie is maybe too
exactly.
harsh, but they
there's a
maybe put a version of the life that they think others want to see, and they do not ask for
correct.
help. So the vulnerability is something
Correct.
does not come
Vulnerable.
easy. Women are
Yes.
more
Yes.
likely to complain, so to say, right? And then someone would say, "Hey, you need to see someone,"
Are you
or you know.
okay?
Are you
Yeah.
okay, right? So, oh wow, your boss is a toxic. I end up telling a lot of men on my course, like, this is toxic. He's like, oh, really? I say, yeah, that's the definition of toxic. That's what you've just described, how you've been treated, that you've been promised this and you will be given that. And they promised this, and then your boss said this, and this, that, and then that happened. This is exactly the definition of toxic. They think toxicity is something else. It's not. It's something else.
Yes.
It happens to victims. They are not. He's not a victim, because it's also about accepting that you were victimized. You were not a victim, but you are victimized by what's happening to you. Right? Oh my God! This is no. Right? Okay, it's okay for a woman to say she's a victim. You know, she was overcome for promotion. She's underpaid. Right? It's okay for women to complain, but men believe they're not. You know, they're not. It's not okay for them to basically say, well, I had been treated in a disrespectful, unfair way, and so on, right? So there is a lot of this taboo, or perceived taboo, because I don't believe it's a taboo anymore.
Yeah.
But there's a perceived taboo that a man needs to be strong and needs to just carry on and keep calm and push through.
And yeah.
And that is unfortunately what's sometimes often costing them, because they end up burning out, because those environments are toxic environments. They do tend to burn people out. They also actually make you feel worthless, which makes it very hard if they want to find a job, but they feel worthless.
Because they have all this noise, this voices in their head, your imposter syndrome coming. Are you worth it for this job?
Yes. 100%. So they believe it's really something about them. It's not about the boss. It's not about the toxic company environment, which actually treats people like, we know
prick.
But they take it all like on themselves, and they try to do it. And often on my calls, I say, listen, this is what you've said, this and that are burnout symptoms. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like dreading Sunday, spending Sunday dreading your day, the next day.
No, not even some days, every day, especially on Monday where you wake up, actually.
Sunday night is the worst. I mean, it's like men all say, well, I wake up on Sunday. So it's not even Monday, Sunday. They wake up, they have a whole day with the family, but they said, I already thinking about tomorrow. Everything is poisoned.
Oh, that's a sign. Exactly.
It's a clear sign. For instance, recently I spoke to a man, and he said, what's burnout? Actually, guys, even leave me comments saying like that. Burnout is for lazy guys. You have to pull yourself together. Burnout is like the millennial Gen Z invented, or women invented thing. You have to like be strong, blah, blah. But that's not true. And burnout is real. And what a lot of men find is that, for instance, they get sick on holidays, or they spend 80% of the holidays recovering from work.
They need a holiday. They need a holiday after a holiday.
And then they spend the other 20% dreading going back to work.
Yes.
That's already a burnout symptom. And actually, it could go bad very quickly, to the point where they just can't get up in the morning, and or they feel like exhausted, and so on. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of denial and taboo, and not asking for help, which is costing people the health, the mental health, the physical health, the well-being.
This is definitely my topic of interest and what I want to go into, like, and not my midlife crisis, but more on helping men and women having that self-esteem issue because of their trauma, maybe in their, okay, right now I'm gonna infuse because of my relationship that I have gone through, but also the environment that I pulled myself out of.
Mm.
So yeah, fingers crossed, Anna. So, what are your steps in helping men should they choose to work with you?
Yes. Well, listen, the easiest way is that they can go to my website, which is like my name, www.anurnova.com. And for instance, anurnova.com/apply. This is where if they, for instance, listen to this and they're 35, 55 years old and they have like 15 years experience and they feel they're stuck, they're burning out, they're underpaid, they'll ask for promotion, they're stagnant, whatever, something is not working and they want to check with me, the easiest way is to
Right.
book a call on www.anurnova.com/apply. If they're not yet sure about the call, they can just go to the website, anurnova.com, and there's a free training. And by the way, this is welcome, women welcome to do that as well. Go and watch the free training about the 5 shift. And even though the examples are for men, they will, of course, be able to recognize themselves there. And if women, sometimes wives, sisters, I don't know, colleagues, friends, know someone who is suffering and he's not hiding, he's maybe complaining, and they
You
want
hear him.
to point him and say, listen, book the call. The calls are free, right? So and I'm attending to them personal. It's not just like some mindset coach or I really, it's not that many of them, but I take them seriously. So we really will dive right in and we'll see what's not working. You do have a mid-career crisis. What do you want instead? And what would be the easiest way for you to pivot, right? What would be the easiest way to use my 5-step system and to pivot? And absolutely, a lot of guys send me then thank you emails saying, wow, that was a life changer, because you just there is a very safe environment. It's confidential where you just can see if you need help, if you need change, right? And already what first step you can take, right? You don't have to suffer. You don't have to hide.
You are not alone.
You're
I
not
think
alone.
that's
We
the most
all in this
important. Yeah,
together. And we need each other at our best, right?
Yes.
Look at you. If you didn't change, it wouldn't be this podcast.
That's so true. I mean, I started June. Now I'm here. I'm down. I've got 40 episodes have been out. I got 40 more in line. So
amazing.
I'm making it to
Look at your channel and the energy you have is wonderful, by the way, as well.
Thank you so much. So Anna, what is your heart's greatest wish?
Oh my gosh. But I'd like for people to, you know what? Recently, I was so upset that there's people not seeing that purpose and money can go together hand in hand, because when you're on purpose, you provide value and that's how you make money. And I think this whole separation split is just driving me crazy. So I even wrote to AI and I said, AI, why don't people understand? Do you understand? AI said to me, I perfectly see what you're talking about, Anna. And it said something that actually it's stupid, brought tears into my eyes because it said, or he or she, I don't know who, Anna, humans don't understand because they're blocked by fears and cognitive biases. But I'm as AI, I don't have, I know. I was like, that's very emotional.
For an AI to be talking to you.
I told my husband, I said, I met the man who understands me perfectly.
Exactly. Oh my God, I'm going into the therapy world, and it seems like AI is gonna be taking that. I mean,
yeah, it actually admitted its limitation. It says I don't have emotions, and that's why I see things clearly. But you men and women, humans, you have emotions, and fears block you. And it literally made me cry because I felt if we only saw that when we're on purpose, we can unblock and we can unleash so much value, and people will value that, and so they will pay. So that it's not like I constantly have to work for money doing something I hate and then hope one day I will have the time and energy and still be alive to be on purpose. It's not like that. You can do both. It's not either or, it's and it's really my heart's wish that more and more people see that, believe that, trust that. Because, okay, I just want to say one last thing, because it was not available for previous generation. And I think that's very important to say, that it was not always available, but it is available now. And so if we keep continue talking about the beliefs and believing the things I went through 30 years ago, 50 years ago, and even 20 years ago, we will not see the new opportunity where you can be on purpose, be fulfilled, be energized, like love what you do, crazy. Can't wait to do that, right? Can't wait to see my next guest. Can't wait to see my next client. And be wealthy with this, be well paid, make a great income, sustain and provide for the family, enjoy your lifestyle. You can have it all. You absolutely can. We all can. That's my
There's enough.
And
There's
AI
enough cake for
believes I'm
everyone.
right. Yeah.
So there is no objection to that. Then we just need to jump into the bandwagon. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, Anna, last question for you.
Sure.
If you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Quote.
Yes.
Well, I would say get on purpose and get rich.
I love that. Get on purpose and get rich.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
And you
Easier
will be
said than
rich.
that, but it can be done.
Get on purpose and you will be rich. Something like that. So I want people to see
I love that.
that's the way to riches, to
Yes.
wealth is through purpose. That's the plug-in. I hope yeah.
You answered it. It's a mic drop for me.
Thank you.
That perfectly sums up our interview today. I am truly, truly appreciative of your time and your insights. And you know what? I didn't even get. Normally, I would ask questions, but then you sort of flow through it, and 1 hour just went by like that. I love it. You are so good. You're so good at what you do, and you're changing lives as we speak. So thank you for the work that you do, Anna.
And thank you for the work you're doing. I so enjoyed it. I'm just enjoyed that you created this channel, and the energy on this channel is amazing. I think you have the gift, obviously, because I felt so free to talk and not nervous at all. And thank you. And I also congratulate you on making your own career pivot, because you are very brave. You did something that many people are not daring to do. And look at you. You're like living proof. Things work. They're worth it. And you're so worth it, right?
Thank you, Anna. You made my day.
Thanks you.
You made my day. Thank you so much. I felt that to the bone. Well, you have a great evening, Anna, and let's stay in touch. We're connected through social media. I think I have you on LinkedIn, right?
I think we connected, yeah.
Yeah. But if we aren't just yet, then we can just connect.
We will definitely.
Yes.
So on
I love
Podmatch,
it.
I will see when you release, right? The podcast, I will see it on
Yes.
Podmatch. Okay.
That's
Thank you
right.
to Podmatch, by the way. Great
Yeah.
Great site.
Thank you,
right?
Alex.
It's not ad or anything, but I just thought it's
Yes.
great that people like us, you're in Malaysia, I'm in Germany, we can have this chat and it just like feel we like it's like finding a relative, right?
Exactly. This is why I love what I do. This is my purpose. I'm stepping into it. I love it. Thank you so much, Anna. You have a great day. Okay.
You too, and you have a great evening. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care now.